Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into 10 beautifully simple but really powerful Japanese habits. The kind that can help you keep your home calm and tidy forever. You ever look at those pictures of Japanese homes and just wonder, how do they stay so calm and tidy? Especially the smaller ones, right? Well, the secret isn't some crazy nonstop cleaning marathon. It's actually much simpler than you'd think. It all comes down to one idea. Prevention is way better than cure. It's about a bunch of small, really smart habits. So, you ready? Let's jump in to the first one. All right, let's kick things off with number 1. Seriously, this first one is a total game changer. It's kind of the foundation for almost everything else we're going to talk about today. It's called the one-touch rule. And yeah, it sounds super simple, I know. But trust me on this, it is incredibly powerful. The whole idea is, instead of putting something down just for a second, to deal with later, you put it away in its proper home right then and there, immediately, with just one touch. Just think about it for a sec. You walk in the door after a long day, you're tired. What's the first thing you do? We've all done it, right? You toss your coat on a chair, thinking, I'll hang that up later. But with the one-touch rule, you just hang it up, right then. One single motion. Boom, done. That tiny little action is what stops those small piles from turning into a big old mountain of clutter and stress. And hey, you don't have to go all in and tackle everything at once. Just start small. Pick one little thing. Maybe it's your keys or your shoes, and just make a little deal with yourself. For 1 week, just 1 week. The second you're done with them, they go right back to their spot. No excuses. You'll be amazed at how fast it becomes a totally effortless habit. Okay, so building on that idea of creating these simple systems, let's move on to number 2. This one is all about creating a boundary for your home, both physically and mentally. This is a concept called the genkan. So in a traditional Japanese home, the genkan is the entryway. But it's more than just a place to put your shoes. It's a really important boundary. It's the transition point between the, chaotic outside world and the calm, peaceful sanctuary that is your home. And look, you don't need some special architectural feature to make this work. You can create your own genkan. It can be as simple as a doormat or a little shoe rack, maybe a basket for slippers. The important thing here is the ritual itself. The act of taking off your shoes becomes a conscious decision to leave the dust and all the stress of the day right there at the door. All right, let's talk about number 3. This one is really less of a habit and more of a beautiful mindset, actually. It's one that helps prevent clutter before it can even get a foothold in your home. The word is mottainai. It's this amazing Japanese term that basically means what a waste. You know that feeling of regret you get when something's potential is lost? That's mottainai. It's a whole philosophy that teaches us to respect what we own, to use things fully, and to just not be wasteful. So, this mottainai mindset makes you pause. Before you buy something, or even before you decide to keep something you already have, you start asking yourself questions like, do I truly need this? Am I going to use it fully? And that simple pause, that one question, it stops clutter right at the source. It helps make sure your home is filled only with things that truly have purpose and value in your life. Okay, on to number 4. This one is all about completely changing how you think about cleaning. It's really about taking the chore out of chores. So instead of letting all the cleaning pile up for one big, exhausting marathon session on a Saturday, the idea here is to weave tiny little cleaning tasks all throughout your day. This is the art of micro-cleaning. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. Like wiping down the bathroom mirror right after you brush your teeth. What does that take? 30 seconds? Tidying up just one single shelf while you're waiting for water to boil for tea. A minute tops. Wiping the kitchen counter after you grab a snack. Another 30 seconds. It's these little actions that keep your home in this constant state of pretty much clean, so the mess just never gets a chance to feel overwhelming. Okay, next up is number 5, and I'm serious about this. If you only take one single habit away from this whole explainer, please make it this one. It is an absolute game changer. It's this. Every single thing you own needs to have a designated home. And I mean everything. Your remote control, your keys, that one pen you really like, it all needs a specific spot where it lives. Because when tidying up stops being about making 1,000 little decisions and just becomes the simple act of returning something to its home, it becomes completely effortless. And what's so great about this is that it gets rid of 2 huge kinds of stress.
First, the stress you get from just seeing clutter everywhere. And second, that frantic, last-minute panic when you're searching for something. You'll never have to ask, ugh, where does this go? Or where are my keys? Again, because you'll just know.
All right, before we jump into the next 5, can we just pause for a second? If you're getting some good ideas from this, taking a moment to hit that like button and subscribe really does help a lot. It tells YouTube, hey, this is good stuff, and then they'll show it to more people who could use these tips. Plus, it helps me keep making more of these for you. So, yeah, thank you for that. Okay, we're back. Let's dive right into number 6. Now, this one is especially great if you're working with a smaller space.
In Japan, living spaces can often be pretty compact, so they've become absolute masters of using vertical space. The whole idea is, instead of letting your stuff spread out and eat up all your floor space, you go up. Seriously, start thinking of your walls as your best friends in the battle against clutter. Things like tall, skinny bookshelves, wall-mounted shelves, hanging organizers, all of these things free up that precious floor space. And that doesn't just give you more room to actually live, it makes the whole room feel bigger, more open, and just more breathable. Okay, for number 7, let's head into the kitchen. This simple little practice can totally change the way you feel about cooking a meal. You want to know the secret to how a kitchen can still look clean even after a big meal has been made? It's because the cleaning is part of the cooking process. It's not this separate, awful thing you have to deal with at the very end. So instead of letting that giant mountain of dishes pile up in the sink, you just clean in the little gaps of time you have. While you're waiting for water to boil, wash the cutting board you just used. I do this all the time. It's great. While something's simmering on the stove, wipe down a counter. It turns cooking from this stressful, messy chore into a really calm, enjoyable flow. And the best part? By the time dinner's ready, the kitchen is already pretty much clean. Moving on to number 8. This one is less of a daily thing and more of a beautiful occasional ritual. It's designed to reset both your space and your mind. In Japan, they have this amazing tradition called osoji. It's often called the big cleaning, and it usually happens at the end of the year. But believe me, this is so much more than just spring cleaning. It's a true ritual, a way to purify the home of old energy and old clutter, to make space to welcome in a fresh, positive new year. And this is something you can totally adopt for yourself. You don't have to wait for New Year's. Maybe you do it at the start of each season. You just set aside a day to reset your space. Think of it like hitting a giant reset button for your home and your mind. It just gives you this incredible sense of control and lightness. You feel ready for whatever's coming next. All right, we've made it to number 9. And this one is about embracing the power and the beauty of empty space, the space between things. One of the most striking things about Japanese design is how much they value empty space. You'll notice countertops, tables, desks, they're often kept deliberately clear. And it's not just because it looks nice, it's because it gives your eyes and your mind a place to rest. There's just an immediate, powerful sense of calm that comes from a clear surface. It just makes a room feel more peaceful, more spacious. So try this. Before you put something down on a clear countertop, just pause for a second and ask yourself, does this really need to live here right now? That tiny moment of thought can prevent so much clutter from even starting. And here we are, number 10. This is the last one, and it's the one that kind of ties everything we've talked about together into one big, beautiful philosophy. It's what I like to call meaningful minimalism. See, Japanese minimalism isn't about getting rid of everything and having nothing. In a lot of ways, it's the exact opposite. It's about surrounding yourself with only the right things. It means every single object you choose to keep is either super useful, genuinely beautiful, or holds some kind of deep personal meaning for you. This becomes your ultimate filter. Before you buy something, before you decide to keep something, you ask that one powerful question. Does this truly add value and joy to my life? And if the answer isn't a clear, definite yes, then you respectfully let it go. And when you do that, your home stops being just a storage unit for stuff, and it transforms into a true sanctuary, a place that's filled only with things that you love, things that support the person you are right now. So there you have it, 10 habits for a calmer, more organized home. Let's just do a quick refresh of a few of the biggest ideas. First, the one-touch rule. Act immediately and stop clutter before it even starts. Then, a place for everything. This eliminates all the guesswork and makes tidying automatic. Remember motonai. Value what you already own. And finally, meaningful minimalism. Curate your home with things that bring you joy.
And now, it's your turn to share. After hearing all of these, which new habit are you thinking you might try first? I'm also really curious to know what kind of tidying routines are part of your own culture or your family traditions. Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. You know, your experiences can be a huge motivator for other people. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you a home that's filled with peace and joy.